Now, this is the TECNO Spark 7P in all its beauty. A smartphone that offers you 90Hz refresh rates and 128 gigs of internal storage at an entry-level price. Now, starting with the price of the base model you can get for 60,900 Naira. Is this device any good in other aspects aside display, memory, and how affordable it is? What's the performance like, and most of all, should you go out there and get this device? Want to find out my thoughts on the TECNO Spark 7P? Without taking much of your time, yo guys, let's get started. First off, this is a tall device, as with a lot of devices right now. It's made out of plastic obviously, and this design on here is the classic 2020 budget smartphone design. Headphone jack, mic opening, micro USB port, and a down-firing speaker grill at the bottom, dual SIM and a dedicated memory expansion slot to the left, volume rocker and power button to the right, leaving the top bland. The rear of the smartphone has a huge Spark branding. Let me know if that's something you'd like or dislike in the comment section below. The triple camera module setup, quad LED flash, and an oval-shaped fingerprint sensor, which is quite fast for what it is. As for the color I have here, it's called the Alps Blue, and there's this texture to the rear. I mean, you guys should have a listen. Unlike the smooth feel you get from the Camon 16, making this device more grippy and having less of that fingerprint smear on this material. But come on, micro USB and 90Hz refresh rate in a sentence. That should be the first. Flipping over to the front of this huge 6.8-inch LCD panel, which I'll touch on later, having an Infinity V styled notch for the front-facing camera, which also sits between two front-facing LED flashes, and that's for your low-light photos, with the left LED flash serving as a charging indicator. The other thing you'd notice from the front is the large bezels, reminding you this is a budget smartphone. As far as comfort, which is one aspect I'm all about when using smartphones these days, this is definitely a two-handed device for your daily operations. And when you consider similarly sized budget smartphones, you shouldn't really expect anything better around this range. It's about what you get for the money. Okay, we've talked about the looks here, how it feels and all. Let's talk about the items you get from the box. And man, this box looks sweet in this blue-yellow combination. On opening it, you get to see all the smartphone accessories we have come to know TECNO for. You get the SIM ejector, TPU case and warranty card. You also get the smartphone looking lovely in this color I have here, the Alps Blue. Also in here is a micro USB connector, a 10-watt charger, and a pair of earphones. Display on the 7P is a 720p LCD panel. Of course, I mentioned it being 6.8-inch in size, and it gets reasonably bright under direct sunlight. Colors are quite decent, especially when you consider an LCD display. The most interesting aspect or part about the display here on the Spark is the refresh rates. Instead of the regular 60Hz you might have been used to, with the devices having similar specs and around the same price point, you get this 90Hz refresh rate for better, smoother, and more eye-soothing experience. Everything feels fluid in this 90Hz refresh mode, but at a slight expense of your battery. You could as well get the screen to 60Hz or have the smartphone do the switching automatically, which is the setting I chose for my device here. Like I mentioned, you get a down-firing speaker which can be easily blocked off while gaming or consuming media. Sound quality is decent here, not the loudest nor the heaviest, but it pretty much gets the job done. Okay, performance is where the Spark takes a leap from its predecessors. We've been used to the MediaTek A or P series for the older Spark smartphones, but here on the 7P is a Helio G70 chip from MediaTek, a processor that caters to gamers' needs on budget devices, giving you snappy and near stutter-free gaming experience on the smartphone. I can't really point out issues when you get to combine 90Hz with the G70 for about 125 bucks. Here on my variant is a 4GB of RAM and 128 gigs of internal storage, and it retails for about 68,800 Naira, which is $20 more than the 64GB internal storage variant. Meanwhile, does this smartphone remind you of any other smartphone? Yeah, the TECNO Camon 16. But this time you're having Android 11 and iOS 7.6. Performance to cost ratio on this smartphone is impressive. You can see how fluid this processor makes this smartphone perform. It generally brings quite a lot for the amount you pay. So let's talk about the cameras for a bit. You are getting yourself an 8 megapixel front-facing camera and a triple camera setup at the rear of the smartphone, consisting of a 16 megapixel main lens, which is the main thing I'd focus on here. Of course, there's that depth sensor, but no form of ultra-wide thing going on here. I haven't really been one who thought that the Spark would compete with the Camon when it comes to photo quality, but that's what I've come to see from the Spark 7P. Photos are really good when you have the right lighting, and although the colors might not really pop like the more saturated photos from the Camon, a lot of people tend to go with these photos from this device. Meanwhile, I have a comparison video between the TECNO Camon 16 and the TECNO Spark 7P up on the channel. You can go check that out also. Now, you also get improved images from the night mode feature on the TECNO Spark 7P. Videos, on the other hand, can be recorded at up to 2K in resolution for both the front and the rear cameras. You can as well see what the rear camera's video quality look like right now. So as far as cameras here, good lighting play a major role to the quality of photos you get from this device. The powerhouse here is a 5000 mAh battery, which gets you from 0 to 100 using the 10-watt charger from within the box in roughly 3 hours. The good thing here is that on a single charge, you're sure of getting the device to serve you till the end of day, not minding what the settings you have for the display and on an average use for an average consumer. So here's my take on this device. There's no doubt that a TECNO Spark 7P is a worthy upgrade from the predecessor. So if you need a TECNO smartphone or a smartphone in general around 60,000 Naira that does a little bit of everything for that price, and by that I mean having great battery life, a gaming-centered processor, decent photos, while still giving you the fluidity of 90 Hz refresh rate for the display, then you might want to look in the direction of the TECNO Spark 7P. So if you found this video helpful, click on that like button and probably subscribe to this channel also. Thanks for watching, and I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Kawida Day.